Umbraco family, it's me, Warren from Hack Make Do. It's been a while, but let's jump into something. Okay, so I have an Umbraco 15 site. It's on Umbraco Cloud. Thanks, NVIDIA. It's on Umbraco Cloud, and I want to show. I'm currently building a package called Content Lock. Allows people to lock and unlock pages. However, I want the users to be able to enable and disable features without having to redeploy their application. So we can take a look at this. So let's go and jump into the Umbraco Cloud portal. So here is my project, and I'm on a free trial or free account for now. So let's go down to configuration. And I believe, if I remember it correctly, it's in advanced. Maybe not. This is where I have to remember where anything is. It's under security and secrets. So we can use environment variables, or if in our case, if we had app settings available and we was FTPing stuff up like the good old days of the web, then obviously I could amend the app settings file and it would change our configuration on the fly. So I've got this setting called Content Lock, Online Users Enable. So at the minute in the header is these header apps, which comes out of the box with Umbraco 15. At the minute, let's update our value. Doesn't show the previous value because it's designed for proper secrets and not kind of application settings on Umbraco Cloud at the minute, but we can reuse them as if they were applications configuration. Maybe one for the Umbraco Cloud team to look at in the future. So let's set this to true and update the secret. And we have to hit save, and then we will wait for it to go and deploy the secret and do its thing. I'll jump across to the browser and let's have DevTools open just to make sure. See if this ever works. It shouldn't take this long, but who knows? The joys of Azure and cloud stuff. Oh, we're starting to see some errors. That's not always potentially good. Might be that the application is rebooting from Umbraco Cloud. There we go. You can see I now have my enabled configuration or feature, in this case online users. So I can see who's logged into the back office at any given time using Content Lock package. So yeah, super useful. So we're going to now jump into the code to quickly talk about how it works. So let's go do that. So let's first take a look. I've got a SignalR hub, and in the SignalR hub, it's just normal C# SignalR stuff. But in the constructor, I'm using IOptionsMonitor, so C# .NET Options pattern. So I have this class Content Lock Options, and then I can allow people to enable the feature. Online users enable the feature if they want to enable the sounds or not, and if they want to enable disable that or change the path to a different sound that plays when someone else logs in or logs out. So let's go back to our hub. What we're doing is that, when options change, then obviously call our method on options changed. And then with the SignalR hub, we're firing out to all connected clients that the options object has changed. And similar, when someone new logs into the back office, the SignalR hub is stored in a global context. And once they boot up the connection, We do some other stuff in terms of adding the user to the list of connected users and getting some information about the latest locks. But here we also get the current options. So obviously with IOptionsMonitor, we can do options current value. And again, as opposed to all clients getting the latest options, it's as someone new is only connected to the hub, it only makes sense that we send out this value to the person who called the hub. So that's how we kind of fire it out, and that's how IOptionsMonitor. So with .NET environment variables, that's what's happening under the hood. It's noticed that the environment variable has changed, or if we was running this locally and I was running the project locally, I could obviously change the value, hit save, IOptionsMonitor would kick in, and then it would fire out the SignalR event. So let's go and take a look at some code, and it's not in this, that's for sure. And obviously I'm mid through projects. So for now, header apps doesn't support conditions. So for now, I'm having to do a bit of an ugly hack in terms of returning an empty piece of HTML if the boolean for enable online users has been set. Otherwise, we then render out our header app with the number of connected users. So in the constructor of this header app, we're consuming a context, which is our SignalR context, and I'm observing many things from the SignalR context. So the total connected users, their connected user keys, and then this option called enable online users. And then obviously this is a boolean, and then we're assigning it to a state. So anytime the observable from SignalR, so SignalR gets the event, we'll go and take a look at that in a minute. It gets the event, we're observing its value, so when its value changes, we update the state, which in turn is then allowing us to update the markup or the output. In an ideal world, like I've said here in this comment, once header apps support conditions, we'll use a condition to know and get this value instead, right? And then that can load or unload the header app as opposed to kind of showing and hiding some markup. I've obviously got some leftover code to investigate. So let's go and take a look at the context. So I've got a SignalR context, and we'll start towards the top. So it's a global context that we're going to register with Umbraco, but and then we've got some kind of constants. Here's what's the path to my SignalR hub, and then I've currently made it public, so consuming places if I needed to do things directly with the SignalR connection. However, and then we've got some observables set up. So let's take a look at the one that was to do with our options. So we're setting up content lock options to be an observable, and then we're creating observable parts. So from that object, we may only want to listen to if the online user's Boolean property value has changed rather than the entire object. And you can see we've got some different pieces as well that we're observing and monitoring if we need to. So we, in our global context, in our in our constructor, we create a SignalR connection. So this is normal, just SignalR stuff. So we create a connection with the URL, and then we pass along our access token from the auth context. So Umbraco provides us the authorization context, and then that obviously has the open API token here that we can then pass along to SignalR to make sure that we're authorized. And in doing so, if we authorize with SignalR, SignalR knows who the requesting user is. So we can obviously then get their user ID and their username and bits and pieces. But we then call start hub, and then this is where, after we've started up the hub, our events from C#, the C# hub, we then call out, what is it, receive latest options. And in here, let's scroll down, it's probably the last thing I've done. So receive latest options gets an object of options, and then obviously I've created an interface that kind of represents that shape of JSON. And then we update or set the value on the observable object, and then in doing so, all the observable parts, so if I was observing enable online users, this obviously then gets sends out an observable that we can listen to. So hopefully that makes sense, and it's kind of a nice little pattern for you to potentially play around with in Bellissima or V15, 14, 16, whatever, new back office or newer back office. So yeah, hopefully that was a fun little hack, and just shows that, yeah, we can use the power of SignalR and reactive stuff coming in the client side of Bellissima to enable us to turn on and off features on the fly without redeploying. Happy hacking. I'll share the code in a blog post or something, but until next time, see you around. Bye!